You've got a unicorn in your IT department. They're the go-to guy for every problem. Doesn't matter if it's big or small, and they never complain. Unicorns are not meant to be captured. Odds are they're going to leave. Here's how to prepare for that. Time for you to practice your Google foo. Pay attention to these terms. Ticketing system, password manager, documentation system, staff resource library, ongoing training. The places that I manage, I set up with the password manager and also have it with the documentation system. And I also have a ticketing system so that they can always refer back to things to see what the solution to a problem was. These are things that you need to have set up in your organization so that if it all comes crumbling down, you'll have the building blocks that you need in order to, well, rebuild. All right, first things first, email is not a ticketing system. An Excel spreadsheet is not a password manager. Folders on a file server are not a document management system. I'm going to be going over some open source and free solutions that you can use for all of these things. Peppermint.sh is the website. Peppermint is an open source ticketing system that gets a lot of love, and it's pretty popular. It's super easy to deploy on Docker. The help desk management solution from the Odoo Community Association. Odoo is an ERP that has an open source version and an enterprise version. In this case, I am talking about a module that gets added on to the open source version of Odoo in order to have a functional help desk system. Setting this thing up takes a lot of knowledge. Setting up Peppermint, not a whole lot of knowledge. Vault Warden is a completely open source implementation of Bitwarden. It handles all of the enterprise stuff that Bitwarden does, and Bitwarden gives a shout out to them because they did a pretty good job. This is set up via Docker, and a quick disclaimer, if you decide to set this up for your organization and you're going to have multiple users using it at the same time, make sure that you make your database a Postgres SQL or a MariaDB. Don't use the default SQLite because SQLite's not really meant for a multi-user environment. KeePassXC, this is my favorite locally hosted password manager. It works on every single major operating system. It's completely offline, all local, all secure. It rocks. I've got some tutorials about how to set up KeePassDX, which is the Android version of this, on my website, and I will be doing some KeePassXC tutorials for it soon. I think I have like one that goes over KeyShare. Anyway, Bookstack. Bookstack is awesome. It's a fantastic and easy to use document management system. Well, a fantastic and easy to use knowledge base is what we'll call it, because in the context of what I'm talking about is that you're trying to build a knowledge base so that your techs can go through and read about your organization. By the way, Bookstack is completely open source, but if you go to bookstackapp.com, that is actually the developer's website, and he does have like support agreements and stuff like that. So you can literally just pay this dude a few grand, and he'll set it up and like train you how to use it and all that stuff. Fantastic open source project. A staff resource library is just a collection of different learning materials for your staff so that they can do ongoing self-paced training. And I'm showing you Nextcloud back here, but I'm sure that one of you guys has like a Microsoft 365 or, G Drive or whatever. That's what you need. You just need a central location where you can store a bunch of learning materials that you guys have so that your staff at any point in time can go and learn from those materials. And that right there is part of ongoing training. Or on the subject, if you are a manager who's sitting here going, I shouldn't be paying for training, my staff needs to just know how to do things, you shouldn't be a manager. Ongoing training and learning, just the grunt work that goes along with reading documentation, that is how your unicorn got to be a unicorn. And if you don't allow your staff time for them to go through and learn new things, you're going to be stuck with an IT department full of, There's also other resources like, Udemy and all of those that you can go through and do. And then, of course, there's industry ones, too. Like, you can go to your manufacturer to learn about certain things. So, like, Kyocera, at one point in time, I was working for a company that dealt with Kyocera. And, like, Kyocera offers actual technical training where they train your IT people in order to, use their Kyocera copiers and systems. Those exact same type of industry training deals, they exist in a bunch of other different manufacturers, and you can usually find those resources and like pay for your staff to get training. Anyway, I'm going to do one more video on this subject, and I'm just going to talk about some of the times that I've seen this unicorn situation play out.